We're going to talk to Mike Bramhall, who is somebody that came into this community. I don't know, I've never met Mike before. We've just seen each other on screen for the first time, sort of one-to-one today. But I'd like to call Mike out, and I'd like to ask him one or two questions and allow him to tell us his story. And perhaps you folks on this call can relate to this, okay? Because you've probably already got a business inside of you. There'll be something that you love to do or you're good at doing, some knowledge, some specialist knowledge that you have, some passion that you have. Maybe it's just a leisure pursuit or a pastime or a hobby, and you can monetize it. So let's call Mike out and tell us, Mike, just introduce yourself to us, please, and tell us about your life before Launch You.
Great stuff. All right. Morning, everybody. Can everyone hear me okay? That sounds good. Okay. I'm really sorry if I start coughing. I'm just getting over COVID, and I was determined. I was determined to be back to full health before today's call. I have another confession. I've also never done a conference call before, so I can feel my heart beating quite quickly as well. So if I go off track, steer me back. Is it one question? Is there any way of stopping that beeping when someone joins, or is there no way of doing that? Because I know it might interfere with my brain power. I'm guessing there's no.
No,
Don't worry about it if we don't know. It's no.
it's a thing that happens on Zoom. It just pings
You're
so
just,
everybody in the world knows.
you're just so popular that all these people are flooding in. That's all it is.
If there is
All
a way
right.
of doing it, we certainly don't know because we haven't got a clue how technology works. So you lost
No.
there.
Anyway, so I'm sorry. I will answer your question. Well, for me, I was a teacher. I was a school teacher in a high school, and I was actually really passionate about my job. Um, my there are very few, if this makes sense, more fulfilling roles than being able to take young people's lives and have the opportunity to be able to change their lives and be a really positive influence in their lives. And I got that myself from my own music teacher from school. They say some people teach and some people inspire. And this lady was the most inspirational person that I could ever have wished to have met. So my dad just walked through the door as well. Hello. But yeah, I mean, when I first started teaching, it was wonderful. I mean, I wanted to be everything that my music teacher was, and I wanted to be able to just make a difference, as many teachers do. However, the more the job went on, year after year after year, I found that my passion was starting to decrease a little bit, and I think that there's one main reason for that was that I just became more and more run down and exhausted. I don't know if we have any teachers on the call, but being an educator and a passionate educator, I wanted to be on the front line in the classroom, and there was no more important role to me than teaching and learning and great things happening in the classroom. I was one of those crazy teachers. I used to take the kids to on school tours, take the big choirs to Barcelona and do tours there, Italy, Paris. And I wanted all the fun of being a teacher. But unfortunately, for me personally, I was never very good at the paperwork, and I was never very good at the what I used to call the bureaucratic nonsense. And unfortunately, I just this got more and more on top of me, and all the things that I considered to be important in teaching were right at the bottom of the pile because I was bringing home so much marking. I was bringing home exam papers. I was trying to set new government levels that were introduced to us. All the stuff. I remember saying to the deputy head, we've either got time to do it or we've got time to write about it, but there isn't time to do both. And my kids were really suffering because of this, because they never saw their dad. It was like dad comes home from work, and he goes upstairs into the office. He takes all his exam papers. He finishes about maybe 9:30. Takes a break. They're already in bed, and then I'm going back up to the office to go and plan tomorrow's lessons. Um, it just got to the point where I thought, God, my children have aged, and I didn't even notice. And it was like, what is this life? This is not how it was meant to be. Um, and yeah, I think that I was getting more and more swallowed into this system of paperwork and everything that went with the job, and all the fun stuff was kind of being sucked out of me. And that's kind of how it started. And I just got to a point where I was also going through quite a bad relationship breakdown at the time as well with my wife at the time, and because of the personal implications that were going on in the background, this also affected my professional persona. And I wanted to be this great inspirational person, and I was just losing the will to live, in absolute honesty. Um, One day, I ended up I got to the point where I actually collapsed on the staff room floor. I didn't sort of just sort of go down. I just kind of got down on my knees, and I had this most incredible, intense headache. And I just thought, I actually can't keep up. Something at this point has got to give, because I have a family over here who want their dad. They never see him because he leaves. He leaves before they get up in the morning, and he's finishing work when they're in bed. This is not living, and this is not the way it was meant to be. So that was a brief story of how it sort of started.
Yeah, so that was your life before Launch You, and so I understand. Um, there was a deal of pain there, for goodness sake, wasn't there?
Oh, it was
Um,
awful. It was it because in my world, there was no way out, because I mean, my mum was always very encouraging towards music, as was my dad when I was when I was younger. They knew that I wanted something to do with music and stuff, but my dad had that mentality of, get a government job, get something that's going to keep, you'll get your pension when you're 65, and this sort of thing. And quite traditional parents really as well. But for me, it was just, I was stuck in a system that I did not know how to get out of. And I just thought, I'm going to get to that 65, or actually for me, when my pension was going to happen, because I was quite a late starter in teaching. It was going to be something like 71 by the time I could get out the classroom. And the thought of me being able to come in with that passion and energy at 71 years old, I was thinking, I'll never do it. And of course, I'll be living with all this incredible regret, because my children will have grown up. They will have disappeared and got their own lives. And I'll be sat there wondering, how did I miss out on everything?
yeah. So
So
what? So was there a gradual realization that there was another way, or was there a light bulb moment? I mean, how did you come to settle on reskilling and learning this, learning internet marketing?
well, in alongside the teaching, for me, I've always been a passionate musician as well, and I've got my own outlets, and apart, and there wasn't much time outside of the day job to do anything else. But for me, I ran a little choir, and this little group, it started with about 15 of us singing around a Christmas tree, and this was my outlet. And it was a Tuesday night, and it was like, whatever happened, I was out of the house. I was doing my little choir on a Tuesday night, and this was just a little bit of it. We all need that little escape, don't we? And for me, this was something that I was always really, really passionate about. I've always loved music. I've always loved making music, and I've always been a huge believer in community music, because I just think that if the NHS could prescribe the most incredible mental well-being for everybody, then everyone should join a choir. But everyone didn't join a choir. We had 15 of us. But it was still great fun, and it was just a bit of release from the day job that just gave me a bit of me time to do my thing. So yeah, and whilst in the day job, obviously I'm getting to that point where I'm slowly getting to that point where if something doesn't change in my career, I'm gonna have to. I don't know what I'm gonna do, I honestly I just didn't have a clue what to do. So I started to look online at alternative careers. But the problem is with teachers is that we all believe that we don't have any transferable skills. We don't believe we can do anything else other than teach in the classroom, and this it's like we don't realize what we're actually capable of, and everything else. But so I started to look online, and I came across a video. I came across lots of videos actually in the beginning, and they were all they were all people stood in front of green Lamborghinis with like £6 million houses behind them, and I'm thinking, skip, 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 skip. Don't want that. But then there was a man called Rob who, and he's a good friend of mine now. He was stood in his living room, and he put his iPhone on his mantelpiece, and he just talked my language, and he just talked about he talked about this digital revolution that's taking place. He talked about all the sort of different changes that are happening. That if you want to find another way of doing things, these ways do exist, and I'm going to show you what they are. So, and I think there was just something really believable about him because he was in his living room with his iPhone on his mantelpiece. So I thought, and I've said to him many times that I thought your video was really boring compared to other people's, but there was something about your video that made it real. And I thought, right, so I clicked on his video. And to cut a long story short, that sort of took me through to the Launch U, and I started to look about what actually can be possible. And with a great deal of skepticism, I have to be honest, I took it all in. But very, very quickly, I started to get, I think you've used this phrase before, John, sleepless nights. And I got sleepless nights because I started to dream big. And I've not had that opportunity before. But the biggest dream of all for me was, does this mean I get to spend more time with my family and do the things that I enjoy and not be a slave to this system that is literally turning me grey and bald? So that was kind of how it started.
Yeah, I think many of us, I certainly came with skepticism, and is this real, and so on and so on. And I think we feel this way about these opportunities, perhaps, that pop up on the internet, But so the modules that we all have to go through are 60 lessons long. Okay, it's a self-study program, so you can pursue your reskilling, your education at your own pace. You can do it in your spare time. People do this. I mean, you did it around your teaching job, so people fit this in around their life. It's not a race. It's something that you need to work through methodically and thoroughly and absorb, and then put the learning into practice. And this is how the education program works. But can you tell us a little bit about your journey through those lessons, your experience of the education, Mike, please?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and where you've ended up.
Yeah, of course. I will get there, I promise. I go around all these branches, don't I? Just keep me on track. Keep me on track. So yeah, when I started to work through the LaunchPad, like I say, it's like sleepless nights, and I literally felt like the guy who was delivering the program. I felt like he was living with me. I mean, I was playing them in the car when I'm driving. And the first time through, I went through each of the lessons, all the 60 lessons, and that probably it took me a while. It took me a few months just to get through everything. And digest everything, because I am quite a slow learner. I'm blessed with adult ADHD, which means that my brain works very quickly, and it goes from one thing to the other. And you'll notice it's hard to stay on track when you listen to me. What I wanted to do at first, I thought I'm gonna watch everything and just go through it, and then I'm going to get to the end, and then I'm going to make a decision what it is I'm going to do. Um, and I thought, I remember I had this sort of little dream in the back of my head, thinking, what if, just what if this is actually possible to actually take my little choir and turn this into maybe something a little bit bigger. I wasn't dreaming too big at this point, but I thought, is this possible? So what I did was I went through the LaunchPad again from scratch, but I was laser focused this time, and I thought, right, I'm going to imagine that my customer are my choir members, and I'm thinking about what have I got to do here to put an offer in front of them that they would really enjoy to do, because my beliefs around singing and the importance of community music are so strong that I thought this is where my focus needs to be. So I did, and I went through it, and I think Mike, you've mentioned this before, that it doesn't matter if you're learning to market to a choir member, or you're wanting to sell rainbow coloured umbrellas, or whatever it is that we're actually learning how to sell. We're actually learning something here. We're learning how to market. We're learning the skills of how to put the right offer in front of the right person at the right time with the right message. And if we can learn those incredible skills, we can take this into any direction we want. Now, for me, this was about growing a choir. So I started to apply the learning from LaunchPad into my own very small little business of growing a choir, and I wanted to open another choir. So I found myself a musical director. I found myself a hall, and then I started to apply what I'd learned to start to grow my choir. And the most amazing thing happened. It started to grow. People started to register. I developed something called a landing page that took them through to my emails, and I put this offer in front of people on Facebook, and people started to sign up. And that in itself was just the most incredible thing. I remember thinking, God, somebody signed up to my choir, and I've not gone to approach them in the street. I've not handed them a leaflet or stuck it through the front door that ends up in the bin. I've done this through my laptop, and they've found me through my laptop. And honestly, that was just the most incredible feeling. And what happened over time was that more and more people signed up, and I ended up with a choir of 70 people, and this choir of 70 people all joined through what I'd achieved through my laptop, and the business model is really simple. It's a subscription based model where people will pay either a monthly or a quarterly fee to be a member of my choir. So every month, money is dropping in, or every quarter, if people want to, there's a bit of a discount for doing the quarterly, but it's a larger amount to deposit, and the money starts to drop in. Now, once I did that with one choir, I thought, right, we've got two choirs off the ground now. Now, I won't tell you that step by step of every choir, but what's happened over time, certainly over the last few years, I've been able to rinse and repeat that same process over and over again. And we ended up just before COVID. We ended up with around about 230 people in our choirs, which was just wonderful. I mean, this was literally my income of what I was earning as a school teacher. Of course, COVID hit, and everything went wrong. Now my demographic is slightly older, and I'll have to be honest. I'm treading carefully here, but I remember thinking not everyone is going to be able to have the technical proficiency to even get on Zoom. But we managed to keep everyone together through doing some online singing during that time. But then after COVID was over and we were all able to get back singing again in 2021, I then started to really work hard on the marketing and really work hard on putting the right offer in front of the right people. And what's happened, we've managed to get now where we are today, we've now got 14 choirs and we've got a membership of just over 1,000 people. And this is just phenomenal. We in December, I don't know. Do we talk about income? Are we happy to talk about income?
Talk about whatever you like, mate.
All right, okay. In December, I received an email from GoCardless. And GoCardless had said that in December you have received 25,000 and something pounds this month. And now I'm not going to say that is just for December. It isn't, because it was actually November and December. But for November and December, we received £25,000 just over. And I never in my wildest dreams thought that we would be able to make, just over £12,000 months from doing my hobby in music, because everyone's told me throughout my life there's no money in music and you'll never be able to do it. But the point is that it doesn't matter if it's music. It doesn't matter if it's rainbow coloured umbrellas. It doesn't matter if you want to sell children's books. It doesn't matter, And the biggest realization for me is that I already had those skills that whilst I was slogging away in the classroom, I already had the skills to be able to build this business, but absolutely no know-how at all of how to go about it. So that's where we are.
Yeah, it's like winning the lottery every month in your world, isn't it now?
Well, the biggest lottery of all, the biggest lottery win of all is that literally, I work from home. The office is the magic, the headquarters of the choir is literally my sofa. And it means that, I'm there for the kids. It's like, if anyone needs taking to a football match, or my little girl needs running to dancing or whatever else, I don't get to miss out on those things any longer, and that's the biggest win for me, definitely. Brilliant. Mike Jakes calls it the laptop lifestyle.
I do, and
Yes.
you hear it a lot on online. People talking about freedom, and you think, well, I'm free. I can go where I want and go on holiday when I want, but when you've got a job, or even your own small business that you've physically got to go to, like a sweet shop or whatever, but when you've got a job, you're not free. And it's not until you really do move online and your income comes from your laptop or your phone, that one day you're walking along and you suddenly realize, yeah, I can just drop everything and I'm going to fly down to Portugal next week and join Mitch and John and it's like, should I go? Shouldn't I go? Yeah, let's do it. Book a flight, done. I don't have to think about anything. I can stay down there as long as I like, although it will turf me out after a few days. But I have the freedom to go wherever I want, to work wherever I want in the world. And I also have the freedom to work as hard as I want on my online businesses and set my income. And I work really hard to start with and earn a lot. And then I decided I had the freedom to scale back and say, no, I'm not going to be employing lots of people to do stuff for me, the stuff I don't like. I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to scale back to earning more than enough money that I'm comfortable earning. And I'm just going to be back to me running, because I want that freedom of jumping on a plane and flying down to Portugal. So freedom is, is the biggest thing. And I often say as well, I wake up and I wonder what day of the week it is. My wife, walking the dog with the wife this morning, what day is it today? I haven't got a clue. I don't care. And it's wonderful not knowing what day of the week it is. And it's not because I'm going senile, I don't think. But even if it is, I don't care, because I'm free. So, yeah, once you're earning enough money, the next, you stop worrying about money, worrying about bills, and it's working. Freedom is the biggest benefit of running an online business.
Huge.
Yeah.
Just because you're not in jail doesn't mean you're free. Yeah. So back to Mike Bramhall. So you're doing
questions coming in there, friend.
Yeah, you're doing work that you love. You're getting to spend time with your loved ones now, whereas you weren't before, and you're earning in a month maybe what you were earning in 6 months before.
Yeah.
It's just like win-win-win, isn't it? It's an incredible.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, whatever, I mean,
It's about 5 months. It would have taken me just under 5 months to have earned this.
Yeah.
And in what I'm now earning in a month. I mean, that's just incredibly ridiculous, It's, but I mean, yeah.
Mike, there's some personal questions coming in here.
Go for it.
Can you explain a bit more about how your time is spent, and did you resolve your relationship issues?
Oh, no.
Yeah, I mean,
Mike Bramhall.
Thank you for the questions. I like this. So yeah, I mean, the relationships, my marriage did come to an end. I'm still on really good terms with both my children's mum. We have to be, because we're both really devoted parents, and my paternal instinct is particularly strong as well. So I'm very much, I'm day-to-day part of my children's life. That's really, really important to me anyway. And what was the second part of the question? Can't remember.
How do you spend your time? How do you spend your time?
How I spend my time now? I mean, it's the choirs are very much my passion. It was never a case of wanting to just down tools with the choirs. The choirs are still a very strong part of my life, and so therefore I've not taken that sort of route of wanting to do. I don't want to do nothing. I want to build my choirs. So for example, when I first started with LaunchPad in December, bearing in mind, in January everyone wants to try something new. It's like going to the gym. People want to join a choir. People want to try all these things new. I managed a few years ago to bring in sort of like, maybe 50, 60 people when I first started to join us in January. This year, in the first week of December, over 500 people had signed up to come and join us in January. That was the first week of December. So we've actually got about 750 people who want to join us for a taster session in January, which is absolutely huge, because that's nearly our membership. It's huge.
Mike,
so yeah,
question from me: how do you manage 500 people on a Zoom call singing? How do you know which ones can't sing, which ones can sing? Do you throw them off? I've got hundreds of questions.
Brilliant. Well, the choirs are actual physical choirs. They're not held on Zoom. We did hold them in Zoom during 2020. But like I say, we must have had just a very small amount of people who could actually have the technology skills just to get on Zoom. But what we do is we have I've sourced and found some amazing musical directors who can lead our choirs. And so we've got 14 choirs all around the UK now, and we're opening another 4 in January as well. So we're expanding all the time. So yeah, so they're not done over Zoom. They're physical. One of the things that I think we learn as a community of our own was that after COVID times, community matters and people need people. So this idea of bringing people together is just wonderful. It's wonderful. We offer loads of concerts, and the concert opportunities are there. But it's all about what happens in the rehearsal room. For our members, this is all about 90 minutes of time where they just get to switch off from their real life and come and let their hair down if they've got any, and just come and enjoy singing some great songs.
And when you're going global?
Well, you know what? Mitch asked me that the other day. It's so funny because that's the next step, really. What we want to do, we've still got places we want to open around the UK, and there's a lot more to be done here first. My big thing for 2024 is I want to bring everyone together for one great big giant concert. But I've just got to find a venue big enough. And I never thought that would be a problem for me. My biggest problem in life right now is, can I find a venue big enough for all these members?
I can hear Wembley calling. I can hear Wembley.
It could be. But I think, next would be, I think I would like to then break out maybe into some English speaking places in Europe as well, and test the water there next. So, but that's probably one for 2025. I think I've still got a lot to do yet. So, but we're busy expanding, and that's fun.
Just before John does his chat about LaunchPad, because you said something to me the other day about you've got the computer systems to do something. You've used AI to teach people music or something like that.
I know. AI's taking over the planet, isn't it? Well, I started to do some investigating, because what I wanted to do was improve our members' experience with the website. So when members can't attend a session, so say for example they're poorly or they've got other commitments on, what I want to be able to do is for them to be able to keep up with what we're learning in the sessions. So what we've managed to do now is we've managed to record all the different vocal parts. So if you belong to a choir, you've got like high ladies, middle, mezzos, and altos, and then you've got the gents. I've managed to use an AI, an artificial intelligent program that can actually sing all their parts separately and together and sound like a choir. So then they can just press a button at home and they can follow the music and listen and sing along. And these artificial voices, they work. They're brilliant. They've got this most wonderful vibrato on their voices, and they can sing fantastically, far better than any of us. And they can replicate the sound of the choir, so they can practice at home. So who knew? But I mean, if I had to pay session musicians, I mean, that would cost me thousands and thousands of pounds. Whereas artificial intelligent voices, once you bought the package, you could just, I mean, who knew I'd be programming our AI? I mean, and it's an absolute piece of cake. When I say honestly, my grandma could do it.
If there's one skill that you've learned from, Launch You and the training you've been through, all the modules you've been through, is it the technology, understanding how technology could take your passion online, or is it the marketing, being able to attract your customers to your offer? And what is it that you've really learned here? That's
I get it. I get the question.
Success.
The technology is easy. The technology is easy. It's not. In fact, I don't even understand the technology, and nor do I want to. And that's just not my passion. That's not my area of expertise. The technology is done for me. The most. I said it earlier. If you can learn how to put an offer, if that is, come and join a choir, build your own subscription-based business, or if it's, let's sell rainbow-colored umbrellas, or let's, whatever it is that you want to put online, the skills that you've already got, those skills how to do it. It's just a question of doing a bit of deep diving and some serious thinking of what those skills are. Once you've worked out what it is that you're passionate about, that you want to really get involved in, then it's just a case of learning the marketing. And the marketing is absolutely important. That is what has transformed my life. I've learned how to put the right offer in front of the right person with the right message at the right time and where to put it.
Yeah.
And once you learn that skill, then it doesn't matter if you're selling pink flamingos or rainbow colored umbrellas, or you want to open a choir, or you want to go and do something else that's crazy. That's it. What it is that you're offering is almost irrelevant here. People might sit on here and think, well, I don't want to open a choir, so why is this guy relevant? It's not about opening a choir. Choir and singing has nothing to do with it. It's my subscription-based business model has been learned through learning how to develop the skill of marketing.
Yeah.
End of. That's
So,
it.
I mean, you can take the skills that you've learned with Launch You now. Once you've scaled your choir business to wherever it is you want to scale it, if you have any free time, if you have any other passions, you could say, right, now I'm going to promote fishing rods because I like to go fishing when I'm not singing, or whatever that passion is, you can now pursue that and see whether you make another successful business because you now know how to market stuff online.